Hello everyone and welcome back to Priest Brothers Lines. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of layout update, but mostly about a new project. So let's go ahead and get started here. The first thing I want to point out is I have started my rock work on my mountain here, and so the idea is that this side here will be all completely rock all the way down by the yard here. This will be very western rock, so I'm going for like the orangey brown color. And it will all be rock all the way down to the bottom, which will come to some black ballast, which will cover the entire yard area. So as you can see, the layout is a complete mess with hot glue guns and stuff everywhere, and still some cars over there, and spray paint, all kinds of things. There's little bits of plaster, I mean, all kinds of, it's a mess. I've not run in quite a while. Well, you can see here, I have started to do the rocks here, which has been particularly difficult around the snow shed here, just trying to build it up right to it. But fortunately, there's always some cheatings to go about here with, filling things in with weeds or other greenery to cover your mistakes, because we all know that the weeds will grow anywhere, so we can use that fact to our advantage. So I've been using several different rock molds to do this whole setup here, and so again, the process for doing all of this, all of my rock scenery, all of this is all the process that Eric Siegel uses, Eric Streams. So if you're interested in that, watch his videos, because he's really good at it, and I've gotten better. I mean, it's probably about 6 feet or so long by maybe 2 or 3 feet tall. So I've done quite a bit of that, but I'm getting better. Let's just put it that way. And so the rock will kind of stop here. There'll be some dirt there to transition from the red rock over to more traditional gray, brown rock to greenery on the other side. So that's what I've been doing there. It is painstakingly long, but it is going to be worth it in the end, especially when I start adding some color and it's not just a bunch of white rocks. So let's get to the main part of today's video, which is going to be a build project that I've been working on. So here is a very quick sketch of a grain elevator that I've been designing. I've seen them, I like the look of it, I want one on my layout. I've seen people that will build them, but they're incredibly expensive and they all seem to be out of stock or back ordered. So I decided, I think I can do that. So I've been putting together ideas, and I've started the build process. So here we can see a picture, or not a picture, a drawing that I made. So it's going to be 5 inches wide by 14 inches long. The building portion will be on the left there. It'll be about 4 by 4. And then I'm going with 8 of those silo tubes there. So those will be made out of pipe, 2-inch pipe, and then the rest of it will be made out of balsa wood, which is what I've been working on. Now, so let me show you what I've done so far. Here are some of the doors and windows that I've been painting. So I bought these on eBay. And so there's 2 doors there, and then there's 4 of those types of windows, 4 of these types of windows, and then 4 of those types of windows. And so I've painted them what's called satin brick, which is a color from Rust-Oleum, I believe. And what I'm going for is kind of a sandy color for the building, this color for the doors and the windows and probably the roofs, and then the silos themselves will be a cement gray. So I thought that'd be kind of a nice color. And so for a backing, I don't want to detail the inside of it, so I've been cutting these curtains, shall we call them, out of an old t-shirt. And so basically the idea is these windows come with plastic inserts as the glass, and so I'll put those inserts in, and then I'll tape these t-shirt bits behind it, and that'll be kind of like curtains or sheets, something like that, because I don't want to detail the inside of it. And so I'll put lighting inside of the building, and so you should see glowing light coming through the shirt there. So that's kind of what I'm going for there, and so I've cut a few, and I'll be cutting some more of those. And so here are the actual building part that I am currently painting. So what I did was I got a coat of concrete colored spray paint, and I sprayed it twice, 2 layers, and now I'm coloring it a sand color. It's Rust-Oleum sand. It's one of their camo colors. I don't know if it's quite coming out. It looks kind of white on my screen here, but it is kind of a sandy brown color. And so I'll wait for that to dry, and then do one more coat, and I'll start putting the windows in. So I did hand cut all of these holes here for the various windows, and so I'll be fitting the windows and the doors into these. So that's what I did yesterday, and so now I am just going to do one more coat there and see how it looks once the windows and doors are in, and I'll be putting the curtains in, and once that's all done I can actually build it up. So currently this grain elevator is my fourth scratch build attempt. The first, which is my engine shed here. The second is my smaller engine shed, which I'll just point out real quick. It's off the layout right now, but it's right over there. That was my second scratch build, a little engine shed there, a single engine shed. And then the third is the snow shed here. And those are all, well, the last two are built out of wood. And so I don't want to build anything into the layout so that if and when I do move, it's not integrally part of the layout. So even this one, this is actually built upon, I believe, a piece of half-inch plywood. So that's the base. So this engine shed is actually not held down by anything. It's not held down by glue or screws or anything. It's just sitting there. It's just incredibly heavy, especially when there's 4 large engines in there, which I should be getting. I ordered the Black Daylight, the Southern Pacific Black Daylight set, the one that comes with the 4 cars and the caboose, and that's supposed to get here very soon. So I'm hoping by the time I post this video, I'll have it in hand already. So maybe I'll even post a video of that engine before this goes up. I'm not sure. We'll see. But anyway, to get to the point, this is not held down by anything. So if I need to move, I just need to uncouple the tracks and just lift it straight up. But it's built on a wood base, and so I'll do the same thing with this. So this is going to be the wood base that I'll be building it on. I'll have the building over here, and then the 8 silos over here, and then set it down on the layout and kind of build up around it. I'll actually paint this a concrete color to make it look like a cement slab, and then put the building on top of it. And then once it's set down there, I'll put, dirt or ballast or gravel, whatever I'll end up putting to kind of blend it in. But that's how I like to do these types of things, where they're not built into the layout, where they're not glued into the layout, so that I can remove them without damaging them if I need to. If and when I move, I don't plan on staying at this house forever, so I do keep that in mind as I build. So the next step will be to see the windows and the doors in the building. So that's what we'll see next. Alright, so here's the next day. This is that piece of wood that I painted a cement color. So that'll be my base. And then over here are the other pieces, the walls. So I did the windows and the doorway. Got those all done. I like the way that those 2 colors work with each other. So all I did here was put the windows in place, super glued them in, and then put the plastic panes in, and then it came with these. It came with these here, these little paper card inserts. And I put it in, it just looked like cardboard in the windows. So instead, I opted to use, like I showed you earlier, an old shirt. And I just cut up pieces, put it behind the window, and then used some packing tape. And I just taped it up there. And then I sealed the tape with a little bit of super glue around the edges. And so it kind of looks like cartons. And it's from an old shirt, so it's not pure white. It's kind of a dirty white kind of color with some not so good looking colors in there, but that's okay. It's a business, It's not meant to be pretty, it's just meant to be practical. So now, I'm going to start putting those pieces on the frame here. First, I need to start thinking about where I'm going to need to drill, because I will be putting electricity through here, so I have lights. So for example, I'm planning on putting a little light over the doorway here, and then I'll also have lights on the interior that'll just light up the inside so you can see the light through the windows. So I'll need to think about that before I go gluing everything down, because it's not gonna, I wouldn't be able to drill holes if these are about 14 inches long, so that would not be good. So that's the next step here. Let me show you a little trick that I came up with. So in my engine shed, I had like industrial lights, and the way I did those is I made them myself. Is I bought these on the internet. These are little studs that are meant to go into clothing, like jeans, you know, for people who like to do that, to have studs in their clothing. And so they have these little legs that you would just put right into your clothes. Well, I looked at the shape and I'm like, oh, this looks like a lamp. So all I'm going to do is just cut the little legs off and then drill a hole through the middle there, and I can feed a light through that. And I'll paint it to make it look like a lamp. Let's check that out. Okay, so here are those studs, and I took off those legs, filed them down a little bit, and then drilled little holes in the top so I can feed the wire through. Now I'm going to go paint them. Alright, so the process has begun. I've placed the base, and again, that base is not glued down or anything. It'll simply be relying on its weight there, and eventually scenery around it that'll kind of cement it in there. And so what I've done so far is I put the little lamp there, and so I'm using two different systems here. I'm using Woodland Scenic's Just Plug system for that particular light right there, and you can see where it's coming through here, and then it goes to this plug right here, which will go into the Just Plug system that I'll be installing under here in time. And then the other lights I'll be putting in are these LEDs right here. So these are LEDs that I bought that were they were what do you call it? They had resistors in them already. You can see the resistor is there with the tape and all that. So it already has resistors in it, so I'll be using this just to light this building. So I'll have two of these, and so two different places for power right here, so two different lights. I opted to make these disconnectable rather than have it just one piece of wire, just so that, again, if I need to move it, I can disconnect those wires there and then feed these through the hole, and these will be inside, and I can just disconnect them. There's probably a better way to do that, and maybe it's not even necessary, but I have these connectors here, which should work really nice, so I decided to use them. Again, my whole point here is to try to make this as mobile as possible for the future. And one thing I do want to point out here is that you'll notice a slight flaw in the paint right there, where it didn't quite get all the way across, and I'm okay with that. I'll leave that. It looks like wear, and I'm okay with that. So I've got the first side up right now. I've been doing the wiring here, and so now it's just a matter of getting more of the walls up and then putting the wires in. The idea is I'll have some type of a bar going across here, and these will kind of just like hang over. Alright, so I put the final wall on, and so I use super glue to get that on there, and so everything's in there nicely. And so now I need to get the pipe. I'm going to do the pipes before I do the roof, because there will be a little building on top of the pipes that'll be quote-unquote connected to the main building. So I need to get the pipes cut, and I'm just going to be using 2-inch ABS plastic pipes used for plumbing. Get it at Home Depot. Get a 10-foot piece for about $8, I think. So that's what we're going to do next. Before I do that, though, I do want to show off the lighting. Now, on the interior, on these corners, I was able to use electrical tape inside to block out the corners. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that on these other corners, just because of the reach and the angle. I can't get to it, so there might be a little light coming through the edges, but it's a compromise. And besides, with the the pipes here, I don't think you'll even be able to see it to get the right angle. So let's turn out the lights and see what we got. Alright, so here we have the lights on. So we got the little lamp light there on for the front door. So that is a Woodland Scenics Just Plug LED light. And then the interior there is lit just from some LEDs that I bought and wired into a system there. So again, honestly, I don't even see light coming through. Maybe you do on the video. The edges there, so that's nice. Yeah, that turned out pretty nice. You really only see the light, the interior light, when all the lights are off, because it's not very bright. Those LEDs, they're not super bright, and they're very directional too, so it's really only casting light in the direction that it's pointed. But when the lights are off, I see that looks pretty nice. Alright, on to the tubes. Alright, so continuing on, so I got the pole, and it's ABS pipe. It's 2 inches long. I chose to go with 2 inches. There's different widths. You can decide what works best for you. I chose 2 inches, and so I cut that into 8 pieces. They're a little under 11 inches long, and so now I'm painting them. So I'm using this cement-colored spray paint, and then we'll put them on the... So I'm taking this time to start doing this on the electrical side over here. So I'll be using 2 different types of electrical. So I'll be using the Just Plug Nano light here for the little lamp, like that one. There'll be a door on top of the little house up there. So we'll put that outside that door. And then I'll be using this light to illuminate the inside. And so that'll connect to another system that I have under here. So there's a lot going on under here. I probably should have had a light, but I got my Just Plug box right there. So that'll go to that nano light. And then I have another box, that's right there. So the standard light will be going to that little box there. So just continuing all the stuff. So I'm just waiting for the paint to dry, and then we'll continue doing the silos. Alright, so continuing on here, again, I do want to apologize for the poor light, as I do have this tarp, as I mentioned. It's above, so it's blocking out all the light. It's just, when it rains, my garage door leaks, and it drips down the layout. It's not good. It's not good. So anyway, so I'm making progress here. So I have now the platform that the next building will go onto, and this is just a piece of styrene that I put some strip wood on the sides, basically just to kind of hide that well, maybe I did a really good job if you can't even see it, but the pipes they weren't cut perfectly, so they're not all exactly the same length, and so to hide that, I put this siding on so that you really can't see it, which it seemed to do a pretty good job, because I can actually see it now when I'm trying to look at it. So I just got this siding going on, and then I'm working on the building. And so again, I have the lights going through, and I was going to glue this down, but I don't know if I will now. I think I might just leave it so that I can take it off if necessary, because it's looking pretty good. And it's a little wobbly, but I'll get a level and find out. But as you can see here, it's looking pretty good, I think. And you can't really see that it's not perfectly even. Yeah, that siding really did the job. Let me go get a level out of curiosity. Yeah, what about the other way? That's what I'm talking about right there. So I think I can live with that. So it's level that way, but not quite so much. Oh, wait a minute. Hello there. Yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, I think I'll leave this loose so I can remove it if ever necessary, because it's looking pretty level. Very happy about that. very happy. So again, I have the lights, wires going through, and so I'm currently making the sidings for the new for the little building that goes on top. So I cut those out, I painted them, so now I'm waiting for them to dry. So the next step will be to put that all together. Okay, so here are the walls that I've painted. So I've only done the three, where the doorway is and the two walls, because the fourth wall it'll just go up against the other part of the building. So I don't think I'll need to make another wall. So I'm going to glue these together, put the windows and the door on, and then go from there. Alright, so I've completed putting the doors and windows in, and also the little plastic inserts. And I want to point out a little tip here. So these particular windows that I bought, they came with plastic inserts, but I also bought these doors that have little window openings there, and this did not come with plastic inserts. So what you can do is just be a little intuitive, and when you find stuff in regular life that is just like a clear plastic, hold on to that stuff, because you can use this. This was from some Atlas track, and you can use that. I don't even know what this was from, but I saved it. It's a nice, very thin, but still got some good form to it, some plastic, some clear plastic. And so I just cut that into a little rectangle. Not this one, of course, but to put into the door over there, and it works just as well as the stuff that comes with. So that's a nice way to get some windows. If it doesn't come with the windows, or if you make your own windows or whatever, just keep your eye out in regular life for plastic on things that you buy. You can save a lot of money using trash. Okay, so I've put the little house, it's just sitting there right now, it's not glued down. I put the little house on top here, and again I got the light there, and the little just plug light there, which I'll put the other piece on a little bit. And so now I need to glue that down. One other thing, just to mention, is I have this Sightings Spur track right here, which I actually changed. If you look at my earlier episodes, I had a switch right here that just went straight across to here. But I realized that when I was planning, it looked kind of cool, but it didn't make much sense, because then in order to get to the siding, you had to go over there and potentially mix around with the 4X pieces over there, and I realized it didn't make a lot of sense. It looked neat, but didn't make sense. So I switched that all out. I took out that switch there and just made it a curve, and I added this switch here to just come straight over here. So now that I know this siding is where it's going to be, I went ahead and painted the tracks today. So I just painted them brown. I used to experiment with mixing black and brown together until I found a color that I liked. But I just found that buying burnt umber acrylic paint looks fine. And so that's what I did today. Now that I know that this siding is permanent, it's been screwed down. I even put a little, it's a insulated line. So if you look right there, kind of hard to see, but there's a little plastic clip there. And so this is on its own power, and so I have a little makeshift switch right there, so I can power that siding on and off if I put an engine there. It's also a nice area to load. Any of you who have tried loading, putting cars on the tracks while power's on, you know if you make one little mistake, zap, and your layout shuts down, and you gotta go reset it. So it's nice having a place where you can shut the power off. While trains can still be running, but you can shut off this little power right here. And so from here to the end, maybe 3 feet, you got space there to load cars on, or an engine, or whatever. So it's nice to have that little area there where you can shut the power off, put stuff on, and not have to worry about it sparking. So anyway, just other things that I've been doing. So now I need to glue that section down and get the little lamp on and start making the roof. So I'm thinking about making the roof the red color. I don't know. I like the cement color. I mean, it's basic, it's simple. But I don't know, I'm thinking the red maybe on top. I'll probably paint this roof red, put it on, see how I like it. And if not, I'll spray paint it the cement color. And it just sits right there. That red color is this spray paint right here. Satin Brick Fusion. So let's keep going. Alright, so now I've done a very important thing, and I've sealed all the edges, because with this imprecise work here, when you're doing light is always going to seep through any little crack, and because it's not the best work, there's a lot of cracks. And so I've just lined all the seams inside with electrical tape. And so let's see what it looks like with the lights off. Alright, so I don't see any light bleeding through. Let's look on the front. Front looks fine. The back looks fine. Alright, so now I can do the light in the front and continue on the roof. Step here. Just got it in the dark here. You see the lights, the lighting effects. You know, stupid me, I didn't realize that on one of the sides of the building, I put windows on, not even thinking that the silos were all going to be there and everything, so it's kind of silly. You can actually still see a little bit of light, like right there in the middle of the screen where it's a little bit of light. That's one of the windows. I didn't even think about that. It was pretty stupid. But got the light up here. I added some railing. I'll turn the lights back on to show you what else has been added. I really like that effect with that lamp in front of the railing there. And then, of course, all of the lit windows there. So lighting is such a cool thing to do with this hobby, and where you can add it here or there, it really adds a lot when you turn the lights off. So let's turn the lights on and see what I've done. Alright, so I added the roof, and I painted it the same red color, and I really like it. I don't know if I'll paint this red also. I kind of feel like it tells a story if the roof is two different colors. I don't know. I really like the red roof, though. It really makes it look very nice. So anyway, so I added that. That's all done there, and the roof is removable. And so I added this railing here and a ladder there to get to the roof. And so we can see over here and over there. So in case you're wondering, the ladder, I did hand make that ladder. I just used stripped styrene and a lot of glue and a little patience. And the handrail there, that's, I believe it's 1/16 inch strips of balsa wood. So, do those railings there. And so now the building is done. Unless I decide to paint that, which I might. But the building is done. So next is to do the little awning that comes over here and the chute. So that's next, and you can see here that I added a little piece of wood here because I realized when I was doing this I would need to have posts for the awning, and there wasn't really any space. I mean, maybe if I added some of the soundboard there, that might have given me enough space. But I decided, I had the wood, so I'll just make a little extra piece here. So there'll be just a little extra part there to go off of. So I haven't decided what I'll do there. Maybe I'll do like a road. I really don't know. But I'm going to add that little piece there. It's only maybe another 6 inches or so. But it'll give me space for the awning there. Maybe have a road there. Maybe put a fence around. I don't know yet. But I wanted to make that a little extra piece there. So that's what we'll do next. Alright, so I've started to making the frame for the little outcropping there where the chute will be. So I did a two-pronged attack here. I used these styrene I-beams because they'll actually be shown the legs down there. But to connect them, I just used some wood strips, some scrap that I had, probably maybe 1/4 inch or so. They're square dowels basically. Just to connect those, and those should be pretty out of sight because they'll be covered by the sheeting, and I'm going to paint it all obviously. But unless you really get underneath it kind of thing, once the sheeting is up, you really won't see that. And even if you do, it's fine. It'll once it's painted, could look like steel braces there. So one one little mistake that I made was when I cut the legs, I cut them on a level source, and I forgot that those legs were actually going to be up a little bit. So in this case, there's two options. One, cut those longer legs down a little bit, or two, just get some dowels, some round dowels or something, and cut them, and just put them underneath the legs there, and it'll look like concrete support. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add some. I'm going to use square dowels and have them drying actually right now. I painted them. So that's all I'm going to do for that, is just put those little dowels there, and it'll look like they're just cement supports. One other thing is I have added this little section now. So I use the 1x3s, and then I have a half-inch OSB, and then some sound deadening board. And basically I just had a bunch of scraps left from the main layout, and so I just kind of puzzled it together and then filled in the cracks with joint compound. And it's pretty dry now, so I'll paint it the same color over here, and yeah, it'll be good to go. So I'm going to paint this frame now. I'm going to paint it that same red color, so that'll all be red, and then the sheets, the sheet metals, will be this color. I think I'm going to do the roof that color though. I think it'll look nice. And I'm still considering painting this that red color or not. I feel like maybe keep it separate. It makes it look like that it was originally that red color, but then it faded a bunch, and they said, like, we're not going to repaint it that red color. We just give it a cement gray and make it look boring. So I think I may keep it just for the story's sake, because everything tells a story. Alright, so I am currently making the little shed area there. So I put the frame up, that's glued on. I have the roof glued on there too, and then this is just a styrene sheet. I think it's 1 millimeter. And so I have a little hose in there. I'll be putting another hose on top, and currently I have a pole. So unfortunately, I want to use this LED. This is the Just Plug system, this LED here. And other than cutting the wires, feeding them through the table, and then resoldering them or using a wire net or something, you have to feather this through somehow. And I didn't want to put a big hole in the side of the building, so I'm using the same tactic that I used inside my engine shed, which was buying poles, metal poles, and making those like conduits. And so currently I have that painted and drying, but it has to be big enough to fit this light through, and the plug on the other side is also pretty wide. It's a little over 1/4 of an inch, so it's pretty big. So I have a pole that is currently drying, and that's just going to go over that hole right there, and this will go straight through there. The pole will be about right there. This light will go through, and you might see the wire a little bit, but that's okay. It's a cable, and this light will be going underneath here to shine a light down there. And I have the sightings, but I need to put the light. Well, I want to put the light under there first, because it'll be easier before putting the sightings up. So I just need to wait for that pole to dry, and then I'll be able to put the sightings up, and then we'll be done. So we are almost done with this. Very, very close. So I got the sightings on, I got the light in there, so I got my pole here, I got some glue down there that should dry clear, got a little super glue on the top there too, and you can see the wire there, but that's okay. I mean, there's really no way to hide it. I was going to try to put it on the inside, but there wasn't enough room to drill a hole, but that's okay. It doesn't really take away, and I mean, you see wires in real life anyway. So we got the sightings on there, and now I just gotta get the last sighting. So I use one of those little sticky lights there, you can see it there. Get the tube there. So all that's really left to do is to get the tube on the outside, that's drying right now, and that last panel, which is also drying right now, and then we'll be done. So there will be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights on here. So the light here, the light here, there's 2 lights inside here, there's 1 light inside here, and that one right there. So 6 lights in here, and again, 3 of those are the Just Plug system lights, and then 2 of them are just some LEDs that I've wired up. So it's almost done. So here I'm making the hose that will connect from the silos to the hopper cars. So this is just it's a rubber hose that I bought. I believe it's a 1/4 inch. And I just got some styrene and just made a little styrene cut there and super glued it on. And then a little styrene square over there, super glued it on. And then I spray painted over that so that it painted the it painted the super glue as well, so it looks like a welding joint. So I'm just letting that dry, and then I'll be able to put that on. Okay, well, we are finished. This is now completely done. Everything is put together. I got the hose on here, which goes from up there to down there, which in theory connects to that hose there. It doesn't really, but you'd never know. And then I got that last pane on there, and so this is now completely done. Everything is glued down. I did not glue these 2 legs down here, mainly because it's going to be surrounded by gravel or ballast, and it'll get pretty glued in there when that happens. So they are kind of loose, but that's fine. It's not going to be a problem. But everything else is down. Of course, the entire building is just sitting on the table. It is not glued or anything down there, so I could move it, but it's got a lot of weight on it now, and it's really not going to move anywhere. So it's completely done. All the lights work. That all looks nice there. I'll show you it in the dark. And yeah, so it's been about, I'd say, a week and a half. I've worked on it almost every day for the last week and a half. Some days I didn't. Some days I worked on it for a few hours. Some days I worked on it for 4 hours. So today I've worked on it. Let me see, what time is it? It's 6 p.m. And so I've been working out here for about 4 hours. And honestly, a lot of that is just waiting for paint to dry, which is the most impatient thing ever. But it is completely done. The only thing that I didn't do was weather it, which I don't know if I will. I'm kind of iffy on the weathering. Not that I don't think I can do it, it's just that I kind of like things looking clean. I don't know. We'll see. I want your guys' opinion, though. Do you think I should paint that roof? The silver roof? Should I paint it that red just to make it all the same? Or having it different kind of tells a story, like maybe it was all originally that red, but then again, that's kind of going into the weathering. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Should I paint this roof the same red so it all matches, or should I leave it the silver color? Let me know what you think. So let's go ahead and turn the lights off and you can see that all. So there it is with the lights off. So we got the light under the door there. We got the light under there, of course. So you got the cars. You can roll through. All the little lights in the windows. And the light on that door, that door right there. I'm pretty happy about this. It turned out pretty well. I saw pictures and I said I can build that, and I think I did a pretty good job and saved a lot of money. Speaking of money, so how much did this cost me to make? Well, it's a little hard to estimate that because some of these things I've had, some of these things I can use for other things. So let's just try to sum it up. So I said there were 6 lights. No. Yeah, 6 lights. 3 of them are Just Plug lights. They'll go for about $5 each, I'd say. About $5 each. So that's $15. The windows and doors. I had the doors from a previous project. The windows, I did buy those, but I bought a ton of them. I only used about 12 of them on here. I probably have 30 or so. So maybe those windows cost $18 in total. So let's just say another $5 or so. So that's about $20. The wood that I used, I think I had one of those already. So those were $4 each. I needed 2 of them, so that's $8. so $28 or so. The pipe, I just bought a 10-foot pipe at Home Depot. That was $8, so I used almost all of that, so let's add that $8. So what did I say, 25, so about 32. The Styrene, I bought some of that online, I bought some of it at a hobby shop, but I have a lot left over. I do use very little of it, so I'll just add on a few bucks. So what's that, about $35 now? The base is 1/4-inch plywood. I had that left over. The little shades there, those are studs. It's just negligible. I have 100 of them. I probably didn't pay very much for them. And little wood strips here and there. So I'd say under $40 to make all of this, in terms of just out-of-pocket costs. About $40, maybe $50, but certainly a lot less than buying one. But again, it did take me about a week and a half. If I were to assume hours, maybe about 20 to 25 hours of work. Although some of that is including paint drying. So it's been a while, but it's not undoable, clearly, because here we go. So some final thoughts. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I like the colors. I was afraid it might look a little too toyish, but I think it looks nice. With the red and the tan color. Could you see some of these in real life and they're just all gray? And that's realistic, of course, but kind of boring. So I added a little frill there. So I'm very happy with the way the lights turned out. Everything turned out just about the way I thought it would. So I'm very happy about this. And like I said, this is my 4th scratch build attempt, I believe. And it turned out really well. It was nice having something to look at and get ideas from, to see other crane elevators that have been built in O scale, just to get an idea about the scale and such. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way it turned out, so thank you all for watching. Please comment anything if you can think about something I should change or add or something, or if you have any questions, let me know. But thank you all for watching. This probably turned out to be a pretty long video, so thank you all for watching through the end. Have a great night. Priest Brothers Lines, signing off. Thanks for watching.